Good morning, everyone. My name is Lorraine Pino with the Glendale Convention and Visitors Bureau, and on behalf of the Glendale CVB staff, I am so thrilled to welcome you this morning and to be your MC for today. Well, we know that you're also very busy, so we're going to get started with today's program. We are thrilled to have Brenda Fisher provide the official welcome for today's event. Brenda Fisher began her role as Glendale City Manager in July of this year. She brings more than 18 years of government experience to this position. Ms. Fisher has managed the city of Maricopa and has worked in city government in Arizona, Nevada, and California. Ms. Fisher has a master's degree in public administration from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and a bachelor's in journalism, public relations, with a sports information emphasis from the University of Southern California. It is my pleasure to introduce Brenda Fisher.
Thanks, Lorraine, and thank you all for the opportunity to be here and officially welcome you to our annual event. It is my pleasure to do so. I would like to just compliment the staff for a wonderful coordinated event, and our sponsors, thank you for stepping up and being a part of this. Without you, we would not be able to put on such a fabulous event, so thank you very much. As Lorraine mentioned in her introduction, I have worked for many years in city government in 3 states, California, Nevada, and Arizona. All of those states have one thing in common, and that is the emphasis on tourism and attractions, and that is also shared here with the city of Glendale. And so I know how important it is for the tourism industry in the Sun Belt area. And you'll have to forgive me, I've got a little frog in my throat this morning. Although I'm new in my position here in Glendale, it hasn't taken me long to realize that we have a tremendous opportunity to continue increasing our market share in Arizona's thriving tourism industry. Where else are you going to find this kind of conglomeration in a city of our size in a metropolitan area like this? It is truly unique and absolutely fabulous and what sets us apart as a city. This fantastic stadium we're in today, along with the Jobbing.com arena across the way, Phoenix International Raceway, our Cactus League ballparks, and other tourism amenities located throughout this West Valley, place us in a unique position to attract visitors year-round. So I applaud the efforts of the CVB and everyone in this room for bringing a regional voice to our continued efforts to showcase and promote tourism products throughout the West Valley. By combining our tourism assets, we're able to bring Glendale and the region as a premier destination. We offer a more diverse guest experience and greater entertainment options for all of our visitors. The result of this strategic approach is that our visitation numbers continue to climb, and that means more for all of the local businesses, our hotel industry. It benefits us all. We're here today because we value the fact that the CVB fosters economic growth and business attraction by further developing the tourism industry in this part of the metropolitan area. So I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you to our tourism and hospitality partners for believing in and supporting the Glendale Convention and Visitors Bureau. And finally, thank you for the opportunity to welcome you to this exciting meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher, for that wonderful welcome and for joining us here today. Well, we are truly in for a big league event here today at the beautiful University of Phoenix Stadium. This facility is unlike any other in the world and is a marvel of design, engineering, and technology. And here to tell us more about the stadium is Scott Norton, Director of Marketing Public Relations for Global Spectrum, and who in just a second you're going to see is in the coolest photo of the day.
Obviously barely in that photo, as you can see, but nonetheless, a fun day for us this past Thursday. Well, thank you everyone for coming. We appreciate it. Thank you to the CVB. Just wanted to thank Cardinals AV staff and our folks from Rojo for putting this room together. I realize that probably most of you have not seen the facility in this state. Most of you are coming for the larger ticketed events and so forth. So as you can tell, it lays out pretty well for a corporate or social function, which we obviously do a lot of in addition to the bigger ticketed events. So the good news is the event business is doing very well. Obviously, there was a couple years there where it was tough to get people to risk money and do events and so forth, and certainly all the venues throughout the United States and here in Arizona felt that. But the good news is I think we've turned the corner. We're finding a lot of promoters that are willing to take the risk and do shows, which obviously is a benefit for the entertainment district and all the venues here and so forth. So for us, it was a phenomenal year in terms of events. We did the U.S. Women's National Game. We did a Mexican National Game. Obviously, Cardinals with the training camp. We did a Stadium Super Truck event, and then we did the Real Madrid game, which I think is a testament to the market. That franchise is basically the most valuable franchise in the world at $3.3 billion. And the promoters saw fit to place that event here in Phoenix in August, knowing that the strength of the markets could support that event. And that actually took place during Cardinals training camp. So it took a lot of coordination for all those events to occur. But again, a great year for us in terms of events and driving foot traffic to the sports and entertainment district, which I see as being our primary job. We tend to talk about the big ticketed events, but there's a lot of other events that we do here that you folks may or may not be familiar with. That again drive traffic. A lot of events taking place over 3 days, over weekends and so forth. So for the hoteliers in the room and so forth, we really see that as a value. Although the bigger events get all the PR, it's a lot of the smaller events. Like we did Lego, we do a lot of car sales, trade and consumer shows and so forth. So a lot of economic drivers there. And we appreciate all the support. Special thanks to the hoteliers who we're always calling and helping us out with rooms or needing information, as well as the CVB for some of the bids that we do. A lot of these bigger events are now going to the RFP process, which requires a lot of work on our behalf to chase these events. And as I know with Lorraine and Jerry and Julie and so forth, an event like obviously the Super Bowl and NCAA, but WrestleMania and so forth. So there's a lot of time and effort that goes into chasing those big events. In terms of what we've got coming for the coming year, obviously we've got Cardinals Fiesta Bowl, a lot of trade and consumer shows. At this point through June, we only have a handful of weekends left when you factor in the holidays and so forth. So a testament to our crew in terms of booking events. Looking forward to some additional soccer, which would be great for the market. It's kind of a unique year because of the World Cup and so forth, but we're hopeful this summer we can pull off another soccer event. So again, looking forward to another great year, looking forward to working with our partners at the CVB to drive events and economic impact to the West Valley. So I appreciate the time and thank you guys. Enjoy breakfast.
Thank you, Scott, for that inspiring message. And again, a special thank you to your incredible staff, everybody here today from Global Spectrum and the University of Phoenix Stadium, the AV folks from the Cardinals and Rojo Hospitality. You've just been a joy to work with. And you know what? They answer their phones midnight on Sunday. That is quite the team. The CVB's annual meeting would not have been possible without the support of our event sponsors. And the Bureau would like to extend a huge thank you to our gold sponsors, Madden Media, Key 360 Media, Wildlife World Zoo and Aquarium, and the Glendale Civic Pride Ambassadors. Did you all see Mickey's baby deer out there? Be sure and check that out. We love when Mickey comes with your animals. Thank you. Our silver sponsors, Camelback Ranch Glendale, Margaritaville, Westgate Entertainment District, and our wonderful Marriott hotels, the Residence Inn and Spring Hill Suites. A special thank you to our bronze sponsors, Challenger Space Center, Arizona Broadway Theater, and Gen X Capital. And we have some additional table exhibitors, which we hope you stop by to say hello. They'll be open after as well. The Kiss Me, I'm Irish Walk and Run, Hennon Publishing, and Thunderbird Executive Inn and Conference Center. Thank you. And also a special thanks to the West Valley Women Organization and Lisa Platt for coming out today. We'd like to extend another thank you to Soretta Candy Company. We all know Sorettas, we love Sorettas, and they have provided some wonderful sports-themed treats at your tables. If there's leftovers, that's not a problem. I brought a Ziploc baggie. And to Howler and the Paw Patrol, thank you so much for stopping by this morning. And again, to the University of Phoenix Stadium, Global Spectrum, Rojo Hospitality, and the amazing AV staff from the Cardinals for everything they're doing today. Please join me one more time in thanking all of our sponsors and partners for supporting the CVB and this year's annual meeting. It is now my true pleasure to introduce our advisory committee. The 2013 committee is made up of 9 Glendale CVB members representing various components of the West Valley tourism industry. This group meets quarterly with our staff to help establish Bureau priorities, evaluate the effectiveness of our current programs, and provide input into the development of new services. The members who serve a 2-year term are, and please stand, Matt Borowski, manager of the Spicery in our 1895 home, Tony Lindner, Director of Sales and Marketing of the Hilton Garden Inn, Phoenix, Avondale. Linda Moran Whitley, owner of Papa Ed's Ice Cream, the other sweetest place in town. And you already met Bud Zomock, Director of Volunteer Services, Pastoral Care, and Gift Shops at Banner Estrella Hospital. Got the biggest title. Steve Gerhardt, owner of Arizona Scenic Tours. And Steve gave up a Grand Canyon tour to be with us today. Thank you very much. He hired someone for today. Well, we're so glad you're here. And of course, all of you know Mickey Olson, founder and director of Wildlife World Zoo and Aquarium. He comes with animals. It's awesome. Well, as you know, the theme of today's event is Welcome to the Big League, and we are very pleased and excited to have a Big League guest speaker with us this morning. Here to introduce you to our all-star speaker is Jerry McCoy, Deputy Communications Director for the City of Glendale.
Good morning. I need to go off script here for a minute and ask everybody, who saw the Red Wings game on Saturday? Anybody? TV, live, radio? I have to tell you, probably one of the most amazing games I've ever seen. And for me to say that, you know, before my father had an incredible run with the Phoenix Suns, he was the announcer for the original Roadrunners with the Western Hockey League. So I've seen a few hockey games in my day, and I must tell you that Saturday's game was unbelievable, and if our guest speaker's going to mention it again, it's worth repeating twice, because to see a goalie actually score a goal from his own net with 4 seconds left and it dropped into the net with less than a second was, I think people didn't know what to do other than just cheer their lungs out. So, any Red Wings fans here? Perfect. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Anthony LeBlanc. Born in northern Quebec and raised in northwestern Ontario, Mr. LeBlanc has been an avid sports fan for as far back as he can remember. After graduating from Lakehead University in Thunder Bay, Ontario, with a bachelor's degree in political science, Mr. LeBlanc has worked as a sales and marketing executive for the past 2 decades. He worked at such companies as Corel Corporation, Giga Information Group, and most notably as the Vice President of Global Sales at Research in Motion, which we know today as BlackBerry. Earlier this year, he co-founded ICE Arizona, a company that would eventually become the new owner of the hockey team in Glendale. And if his title is any indication of how busy he is, he needs a couple handlers, I think, to work with them. Please help me welcome to the stage Glendale's new sports partner and the Phoenix Coyotes' new president, CEO, alternative governor, and co-owner, Mr. Anthony LeBlanc. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jerry, and I appreciate the kind remarks, and I absolutely love being referred to as an all-star speaker. Haven't had that one yet, and hopefully I don't disappoint. And I will mention that Red Wing game as well a little bit further, so thank you for stealing a bit of my thunder. Thank you for the invitation to be here. We're thrilled to be here, and I'd also like to extend a hello and thank you to Mayor Wires, Vice Mayor Kanak, Councilmember Martinez, and City Manager Fisher. It's great to see you in less formal environments. Obviously, we had tremendous support back in July, and we're thrilled to be here and be a partner and be the owners of this wonderful franchise. But most importantly, we're appreciative of the ongoing support because that is so very important to us. Before I get into my formal remarks this morning, I do want to start with an observation and I guess a question to the CVB. As I was rereading the press release that was sent out as I was preparing my remarks, I noticed something odd about the first paragraph, so allow me to just read it for you. What does spring training, Fiesta Bowl, and NASCAR have in common? They are all major sporting events in the West Valley. Something's missing. And that's why Welcome to the Big League is the theme of this year's Glendale CVB annual meeting, where major sports in the West Valley and countdown for Super Bowl 2015 will be the focus. Something's still missing. So I'll pose a question. Baseball, college football, auto racing, pro football, what sport is missing? Thank you. Well, the press release did go on to say that the meeting will be held at blah, 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 and this time, and some Canadian schmuck who just bought a team will be speaking. But we are so thrilled to be here with that glowing endorsement and welcome. But all kidding aside, we are thrilled to be here, and we'd like to thank the City of Glendale. As I said, they have been a tremendous partner of the Coyotes for many years, and there is no question that we would not be here today talking about the Coyotes if it wasn't for the vision and leadership of the city. So thank you again, and I think that we should all provide a nice round of applause to the City of Glendale for their tremendous support. Now, the aforementioned press release, which I think I'm going to frame and put up in my office, said that I will be talking about my plans, and our plans, I should say, to build a successful franchise and to discuss the role of Canadian travel, the Canadian travel market, and the hockey tourism. And quite frankly, we really can't separate those two because of the fact that our view is those two topics are very intertwined in regards to our recipe for success. And because obviously we feel that we need to capitalize on the tourism market to make this a successful franchise. My partners and I truly believe in the future of NHL hockey here in Arizona. I spent the better part of 4 years trying to find a way to purchase this franchise, and it finally came together when I was able to connect with a group of like-minded, successful hockey enthusiasts and who had the ability to ignore the negativity that we had all seen and the negative history and focus on the positive opportunities that lie ahead. We believe in this opportunity for a number of reasons. First and foremost, you have to have a competitive product. As our general manager, Don Maloney, likes to say, you don't have to win the Stanley Cup every year, but you need to provide your fans with a belief that you are a contender. And there is no question that GM Maloney and Coach Dave Tippett, who I believe and I think most of you would agree are two of the best in the business, have done just that. In fact, from our perspective, it is quite unusual. Now, obviously, this is our first time purchasing a sports franchise, but if you look at the history of most sports transactions, typically there are a lot of changes that have to be made immediately in regards to the actual sports product. That isn't the case with us. And in fact, over the last two to 3 months, 3 NHL teams have changed ownership. Obviously the Coyotes, along with the New Jersey Devils and the Florida Panthers. Now those other 2 teams that I mentioned collectively currently have 4 wins. We have 5 wins and we rank near the top of the pack of the standings. Now this isn't an attempt to boast and, well I guess it is, but and belittle the other 2 teams, but it's simply to point out the fact that it is unusual and something we don't take for granted to have such a tremendous sports product. Now, as Jerry mentioned, and this is going a little bit off script, but I did plan on discussing the Detroit game because it was a very special moment. So as Jerry mentioned, and it was more than what happened at the very end of the game. Coming into the end of the second period, we were down 2-0. And with 1 minute left in the second period, Antoine Vermette, a good French-Canadian boy like myself, scored. And you could just feel the vibe in the building turn. Now, over the next period, we scored 3 additional goals to make it 4-2. And it was which was a tremendous feat to come back against Detroit and just feel the vibe in the building. But then, as Jerry mentioned, with about 10 seconds left, the goaltender had been pulled by Detroit, and the puck was down in our end. And our goaltender, Mike Smith, had the puck. And with about 6 seconds left, he just flipped it really hard and in a straight as an arrow line. So everyone in the building is looking at this thing as it rolls towards the net, and we're also looking at the clock. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. 0.1 second, the puck goes across the line. Now, the only way I can equate the celebration that happened afterward would have been the equivalent of, I think, a pitcher pitching a perfect game. The celebration at the center of the ice and the smile on Mike Smith's face was just second to none. But you really felt it. You felt that there was something happening. And yesterday, Barry Melrose, a former coach and a well-known analyst, actually wrote on his blog that something is happening in Phoenix. And he actually equated that if you're the San Jose Sharks or the LA Kings or the Vancouver Canucks, you don't want to meet this team in the first round of the playoffs. But even rarer still, yesterday morning in the Toronto Globe and Mail, the national newspaper in Canada, actually wrote a positive article about the Coyotes because of that event. That was probably more exciting and more rare than that goal. But having all of that said, we understand that a winning product is only part of our job. And because there's no question, as I stand here in the University of Phoenix Stadium in the Cardinals' home, there's a lot of competition, and we understand that. One of the most critical pieces we've had to manage that was amplified because of the uncertainty that surrounded this franchise for the past 4 years was, of course, to provide a sense of stability. Now, certainly closing the transaction on August 5th was a big part of the process. However, we needed to make everyone understand, from the ticket buyers to the suite holders to the sponsors, that we were going to be heavily involved with this franchise. Now, while it has only been a couple of months that we've been involved, I do humbly feel that we have started to send that message. Now, how have we done so? It's been pretty simple. We've been involved. We've been on the ground. For example, I have relocated here on a full-time basis, and as my very impressive sounding title, I was very happy to send that card to my mother. We are here and we're operating this franchise. George Gosby, one of my partners, is here almost as much as I am. In fact, he's on his way back down for the game this evening, as are a number of the other 7 members of the ownership group. And when we are at the games, it's not like we're just sitting in our owner's suite eating caviar. Truth be told, I actually am a fan of having pulled pork and chicken wings in my box, so that's more sports. We make sure that we're interacting with our fans and do so as much as possible. And we've also taken it upon ourselves, George and I in particular, to be very involved, or start to be more involved in social media, in particular Twitter. And quite frankly, it's a great way to keep our fingers on the pulse of what our customers are thinking. But it can also be a great way of getting new ideas regarding how we can market this product. And for example, yesterday, I was looking at my interactions on Twitter and ignoring all the negative things from Quebec. And one of our fans, who has the wonderful Twitter handle of @CoyotesMan, sent George and myself the following tweet, and I'll read it to you verbatim. Idea: referral codes for season ticket holders to refer new fans. Season ticket holders get points to spend at the arena, food, ticket, and merchandise. What a great idea. I mean, it's embarrassing we didn't think of it, at least I didn't think of it, but immediately I sent it off to our new Executive Vice President of Tickets, Jeff Miranda, who's here today, and we are actually exploring how we can implement that. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do, is listen to our fans and try to implement their ideas when appropriate. At the end of the day, however, our job is to fill that beautiful building next door that the City of Glendale owns and we have the honor to manage. Now, my background is in sales and marketing, as Jerry indicated. And one thing that you learn when you become a salesperson is the expression, fish where the fish are. There is no question that we have a very devoted and resilient fan base here, but there's also no question that we have to grow that fan base. And as we all know, the biggest advantage that we have in this market is we are a destination. People want to be here. And we also know that one of the biggest exporters of the tourism market happen to be from Canada and the northern states. Good hockey people, God love them. Now, I've used the joke many times that in the winter months, the Phoenix area, the greater Phoenix metropolitan area, becomes the third largest city in Alberta. But the reality is, it's not a joke. Over 500,000 Canadians from Alberta and British Columbia alone spend the winter here in Arizona. Put that into perspective. The city of Winnipeg has just over 600,000 people, and they have a full arena every night to watch their hometown Jets. So just think about that. We know that when the teams from Calgary and Edmonton and Vancouver are in town, we have a full building. The challenge, but quite frankly, we feel the opportunity, is to turn those fans into Coyotes fans as well. We need to provide those fans with an environment that is enjoyable, and it makes them want to return to a game when their favorite team is not playing. And ultimately, we need those people to start viewing the Coyotes as their second favorite team. I truly don't care, and I mean this sincerely. I don't care tonight when the Flames are in town if people are cheering for the Flames, as long as they've done two things for me. One, they bought their ticket. Two, they actually think about the concept of coming back to see a game when the Flames aren't in town. Now, the other real opportunity for us is not simply to focus on fans that are here on a long-term basis or winter here, but also look at the fans who would explore coming to Arizona for a weekend to watch a hockey game and stay in our hotels and eat in our restaurants. This is the biggest single opportunity for all of us in this room. And the story is a fairly easy one to sell when you just look at the economics. Now, it's no secret that the Coyotes have the lowest average ticket price in the National Hockey League. Having that said, we do expect that to change. And the fact that the average ticket price has gone up by 17% year over year shows we're going in the right direction. However, we also need to embrace the fact that we do offer a very value-driven economical ticket compared to other franchises. But it is the level of disparity between our ticket prices and that of other clubs, particularly the northern clubs, that highlights the real opportunity for us. Now, as I mentioned, the Coyotes do have an average ticket price that has gone up by 17%, so I don't expect this to be the case always, that this ticket price will be as low as it is. But our average ticket price today is $76. But look at the average ticket price for the Western Canadian teams. Winnipeg, $276. Edmonton, $272. Vancouver, $265. And Calgary, $262. This means that if a family in Calgary wants to go to attend a Flames game, a family of four, it's going to cost them just around $1,000 for tickets alone. That same game here at the Coyotes, around $300. Now, if those fans do what I would think is the wise thing, pick a weekend to come down when there are two Coyotes games over the weekend, like there is November 21st and 23rd, to come to two games, the cost savings would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 for the family of four to go to two hockey games here versus their hometown. That cost savings will go a long way towards their hotel and their airfare. And I could say this as a Canadian, trust me when I tell you, in the winter months, there are not too many Canadians that wouldn't choose spending a weekend in Arizona over a weekend in our hometowns. And ironically, as I mentioned, we have the Flames in town today and playing the Coyotes tonight. And I've spoken to a number of people over the last couple of days that came into town over the weekend, caught the fantastic game that Jerry and I have talked about against Detroit on Saturday night, played some golf yesterday, played golf Sunday, going to the game tonight. Now, I've only focused in that little diatribe on the Western Canadian teams, but when you add in the northern markets, we have 25 of our 41 home games against teams in markets that have one thing in common over the winter months: snow. They have snow, we don't. This isn't to say that our plan for success is to draw fans from other regions exclusively. However, we realize that we have a natural advantage that very few other clubs have. And that is the fact that we are in a market that is a destination that people want to visit. We do need to take advantage of this. And we also need to take advantage of the fact that take advantage of those people when their favorite teams are not in town, as I mentioned, when the non-Canadian and the non-Northern teams are here. Some examples we are exploring are to essentially copy what some other teams have done. For example, the St. Louis Blues and the Nashville Predators have, like we do when the Chicago Blackhawks are in town, those buildings are sold out immediately. They've started this year that if you want a single ticket to a Blackhawks game, you have to buy a ticket to another non-premium game. That's something that Jeff and Mike Humes and I have already started exploring. Also, why not look at trying to get Canadians in particular to games when, let's say, Dallas or Anaheim or LA are in town by doing things that might be enticing to a Canadian. As we all know, Canadians love hockey, but if you throw in some Canadiana at a Canadian-themed game, either before or after the game, and these things may mean nothing to you, but the Canadians in the room, it will. If you offer poutine, or if you offer Tim Hortons coffee, trust me, people will get excited. As a matter of fact, Canadians won't be able to stay away. Now, we focused a significant amount of our resources, both human and cash resources, to ensure that we hit the ground running in our efforts to turn the Coyotes into a profitable venture. And the early results are incredibly positive. We launched our Hungrier Than Ever campaign. Thank you to Ted Santiago, our VP of Marketing, who's here today, who really spearheaded that whole effort. And we've had nothing but positive feedback. Well, except out of Quebec, that we did get some negative feedback from them. And the proof of that success is in the efforts and in our numbers. While there have only been 3 home games so far this year, our attendance is up significantly. Suite sales are considerably higher, with suite rentals almost double from what they were last year. And corporate sponsorships are tracking towards being potentially the best year in Coyotes history. However, we know that there is much more to do, and we understand the task in front of us. We continue to hire, and I've mentioned Jeff Miranda and Mike Humes. Avik Day's not here today. We are consistently building out our team along with the great staff that we inherited. But our plan is to ensure that we don't have just the best team on the ice, we have the best team off the ice that can mobilize us and allow us to do what we need to do. The Coyotes have a very positive future ahead, but the reality is it will only happen if the community buys into this vision. As I mentioned in my opening, we have received tremendous support from the city and from our local partners. If you haven't been to a game yet, do yourself a favor and come. Because I promise you, if you go to 1 game, you will go to 2 games. And as I mentioned, what do you know? There's a game next door tonight, so why not start today? Thank you so much for your time this morning, and go Coyotes.
Well, hopefully we can make up for the press release a little bit. We have our Glendale history book, which we are going to have to rewrite because you are reshaping Glendale's future. So a little bit of Glendale's history, and you cannot live in, be a part of, or do anything related to Glendale if you don't check out our local candy factory. So you're going to be the most popular person at your table when you get back, because you're going home with a gift basket.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Well, that was pretty exciting. Who wants to go to a game? Let's go. Tickets on Mr. LeBlanc. How's that? Oh, good. He didn't pay attention. Well, it is now my pleasure to moderate the next portion of our program. We're going to hear from our CVB experts, the people who really roll up their shirt sleeves, get to work, and bring business to the West Valley. They're going to provide an update on tours and programs from the past year, as well as share upcoming initiatives. Let's meet today's speakers, Ginger Iden and Jennifer Stein. We are all here today to learn about the recent activities of the Glendale CVB and upcoming programs. Let's start off with Ginger Iden. Ms. Iden, the Glendale CVB social media engagement has seen an impressive 49% increase in engagement this past year. Tell us about the CVB's social media tools and how our members can utilize them and drive visitors to the West Valley.
To talk a little bit, I have to start with our website, which I realize isn't a social media tool per se, but it's sort of our hub, it's our home, it's where we want to start people. We really try to focus with all of our website families for Glendale, but especially for the CVB, on story-driven web content. So that's sort of a news focus, so feature stories on our website. If you go to visitglendale.com, which I'm sure is bookmarked on everyone's phone and on all of your desktops, and if not, I can take care of that for you. I do make house calls. If you go there, you'll see stories that are the kind of stories you would want to rip when you're at a doctor's office out of the magazine. We try to focus on things to do, great deals, any specials that we have going on. And we highlight our members. We talk to our members. We get information from our members about things that they have that are going on that maybe coincide with a bigger event in the city. So if Fiesta Bowl is in town, a lot of our merchants might pool together and come up with a list of great Fiesta Bowl deals. And we want to highlight those and get those out to people that are looking for them. And I start with the website because that's sort of where we keep all of our content. But how we hook people is with our social media. So to talk a little bit about it, everything we do goes to Facebook. Everything we do. Our video, the Glendale 11 folks that you see filming here today, everything we do, we push to Facebook because that's where people are. People love to share things on Facebook. Think of the things that you've shared. Well, the Glendale CVB likes to share on Facebook too, and those same deals and those same stories we put there for a viral purpose, because once people see them, they want to pass them along and they want to share them. They want to rip it from the magazine in the doctor's office virtually and pass it along to their friends. So we really try to focus on engagement. We focus on photos and videos because those are the things that grab people's attention. A little bit, to get a little nerdy, I'm not going to get too nerdy today, but I like to talk about why we like to activate those people, why we like those people to pass things along for us. We call them our likers. The reason you want to activate your likers and to make your likers pass along your story is because those people have more friends. According to Facebook, people that are likers of a page of some sort, 2.4 more likely to have social friends. They have 2.4 the amount of social friends, and they're 5.3 times more likely to click inside to other stories. So that means they're not just staying on Facebook, that they're comfortable clicking out of Facebook and taking the trip and going along to see the websites that we're leading them to. And those are your websites. We're sending them from our Facebook page to see you, and they're happy to do it. Really quickly, I'll talk a little bit about Twitter because I don't want to dominate the conversation today. Twitter focuses more on a news stream. How many people in here are Twitter followers? Yay, I like to see that. How many of you follow at Glendale CVB? Do it now, do it, all of you, do it now. We live tweet major events in the city. It's something that we've learned is perfect for the Twitter audience. It's different from Facebook. Twitter's not the place where people want to pass things along. It's how they want to ingest information on the go. So we live tweet from the Tanger opening, the Tanger grand opening. We live tweeted from the announcement for the Coyotes sale. The great thing about live tweeting is it's also something that taps into the media. And we find that a lot of the tweets that we put out there are actually captured and stolen by the Arizona Republic to use on their site, which is fantastic because we want to help tell that story. Now, a little bit about some of our contests and giveaways. Social media is also a great way to engage the public through giveaways. Who doesn't like freebies, right? Everyone likes freebies. Well, if you attach something to your social media that is tangible, some sort of coupon, a giveaway, something that people can participate in, your engagement just goes through the roof. We've done some really successful giveaways over the last year. We've given away tickets to events. We've given away baskets of chocolate, experiences to throw out the first pitch at a spring training game. Twitter is something that we use a lot for our giveaways. But recently, we found a great way to kind of pool all of those giveaways together into one super mega social media experience. We did a social media contest to win a VIP package to a Lego event here at the stadium. And it was for a family 4-pack. So you could come with your kids early, get a tour, kind of experience it. And what we did is created these experiences for people to interact with us in social media. And every time you did, you basically got your name in the hat to win this one family 4-pack. Well, we only had maybe a week to do this giveaway, and more than 900 people went ahead and activated and engaged with us just to win this opportunity. They did it by tweeting on our behalf. So not just us telling our story, but them telling it for us. They did it by pinning photos of us on Pinterest. They did it by commenting on blogs and by sharing things on Facebook. So by offering this one little giveaway, we got 900 people to talk and tell our story for us.
I think the takeaway is you all need to follow us. You need to like us. Please like us, really like us. We all like you, Ginger. Thank you for all the work you do for social media.
Really quickly, just so you know I'm not being rude, I'm still live tweeting, so when Jen speaks, I'll be typing on this. Okay.
Fantastic, yay. Thank you, Ms. Iden. Well, Ms. Stein, as our public relations manager, your efforts have resulted in nearly $1 million of earned publicity value this year. And in fact, one of your press releases will be framed on Mr. LeBlanc's wall.
Honored, yes.
That's like super
Can't wait.
awesome. Who would have thunk it? Well, tell us more about your strategy and efforts.
Thank you, Lorraine. Well, some guy from Canada And we'll get to Mr. LeBlanc in a second, the other guy from Canada. But this guy I'm referring to, maybe you've heard of him. He's called the Great One. He said, or his quote is, "You miss 100% of the shots you never take." And that's exactly how we approach public relations on behalf of the CVB. We take a lot of shots, and we work really hard in trying to share our stories, your story, all of our members' stories, to various media and various audiences. And as a result, Lorena's going to get to this in a little bit, it has helped boost our hotel occupancy. We've seen an increase this year, as well as the attendance numbers and how many people we attract to our destination points. So this is really exciting news, and part of that effort involves reaching out to various media and securing stories. 92% of consumers said they trusted earned media more than any form of advertising. So it's working. And what earned media is it's basically proactive media. It's the stories you read about in the newspaper, you hear about on the radio, and these are the different mediums we pitch to. And as Ginger alluded, social media plays a very powerful engagement tool in the tourism industry. 52% of respondents changed their travel plans after researching their trip using social media. 85% of travelers use their smartphones while traveling, and that's why there's a lot of apps and different opportunities to find out about in the area, discounts, different restaurant offerings, so a lot of people are relying on that. And as you know, those Facebook friends of ours that post those lovely vacation pictures, you know, this one's rafting or the food pictures, because 52% of Facebook users said that their friends' photos have inspired their travel vacation plans. So take some pictures of today. Maybe we'll see additional tourists. We draft a number of releases. I'm very honored, Mr. LeBlanc, that you highlighted one of mine. And I'm happy to sign a copy for your framed one. Happy. And we draft a lot of these releases to promote upcoming events and promotions and activities. In fact, I just returned from a Canadian media mission to Vancouver. And this is really funny because I'd never heard of Tim Hortons, so I just have to go off script and bring this up. As Mr. LeBlanc referenced, Tim Hortons. I happened to be in line, you know, ready to order my donuts, and I got to be like the 100,000th person to order the donut I got this special gift certificate and balloons, and I'm like, I'm from Arizona. So I have this for you. I'm gonna when I sign my copy, I'm gonna also give you the Tim Hortons. Congratulations, you ordered the 100,000th donut. So who knew? Anyway, the Canadian media mission was a huge success for the CVB. We worked in conjunction with the Phoenix, Mesa, and Tucson CVB, and it was an opportunity for us to meet with more than 80 travel writers and share our stories, and hockey definitely was one of our biggest pitches, and I learned in Canada that the cost of tickets, as Mr. LeBlanc referenced, is very, very high in comparison to ours, and there actually was a person I met who traveled here, and it was less money to travel here, stay here, the transportation, than actually attend with their family a game in Canada. So we're definitely capitalizing on that, just the value and all the great assets and accommodations and amenities we have here in Glendale in the West Valley. And so that was, in fact, today I have an interview at 3 p.m. with Canada Traveler magazine. So they're really interested in our stories. We also work very close with the Arizona Office of Tourism. And there's different specific markets that we are targeting. Chicago is our #1 national market, as well as Canada being our international market. Future press trips include New York and Chicago. And of course, there will be an emphasis in reaching media who will be covering Super Bowl for 2015. So we're going to start embarking upon that. And of course, another trend that we're working with is the charity component, making sure we add these elements to our events. Like, for example, you saw out here the Stockings for Soldiers. And these are really successful because we're able to promote it, and a lot of our community is amazing. They're very receptive, and for example, we'll have Channel 10 out one day promoting our charity component, and Lorraine receives hundreds and hundreds of donations the following day.
Thank you, Jen. It's important to note that
Jennifer and her team manage approximately 2 positive news stories each and every week related to the CVB and our members. So great, great work. And thank you for mentioning Stockings for Soldiers. If you haven't had a chance, a little plug, go sign the Christmas cards. We're working with the Military Family Support Group this year as our holiday charity component. Thank you. You know, a very important part of our annual meeting is to really reveal new programs and initiatives that are going to be taking place over the next year. So I'm going to ask each of our panelists to give us a little sneak peek about what's coming up. Ms. Iden, let's begin with you.
One of the things that we actually recently started, we kind of launched it this summer, is the Glendale CVB blog. What's the difference between a blog and a website? Well, it's a subtle difference, but a blog is more conversational. It's like getting a story, reading a friend's diary, reading a journal, and kind of getting a personal story from someone about something that they've experienced or that they can experience. It's a great way for us to take something and step out of sort of that mold that the website has us in and stretch a story out, kind of pull the threads of that story. The great thing about a blog is it allows for content marketing, which is kind of where Jen and I cross over. We collaborate a lot on what we do. And the stories that we put on the blog can become great points for her to pitch to the media. She can direct people to the blog for reference for a story that she's pitching, so people can comment on it and they can engage with it. Popular word I use, engagement, but that's how we really connect with people. And the more they engage with us, the more likely they are to remember us and to feel like we're their friends. Another reason we wanted to do the blog, and this is a selfish reason, is because Google likes blogs a lot. Google likes it when you change your content often, and they notice blogging. They notice when someone adds a comment to something. They notice when you take a story and you tell it 3 different ways, and you constantly add a new picture. So we decided we have a lot of content in the Glendale CVB. We tell a lot of stories. We tell stories about Surprise, about Peoria, about all of our different members, and we have a lot to work with. So we launched this blog, and I'm pretty happy with how it started. We have a lot of people that are engaged and a lot of people that are following the blog because they want to get those stories. And we've been able to tell a lot of different stories. We also have the opportunity to really tap into our membership with guest blogging. And there are a few of you in the room that have taken us up on this opportunity, and I'm sure we'll hit some more of you up to do it as well. The great thing about guest blogging is you bring a fresh voice to the table. You tell your story about maybe your business or something you've experienced. Recently, we had someone that is a CEO with the Komen Group, I believe, and she told the story of her experience just hearing about the downtown in Glendale and how it went pink for October. And she contacted us and said, you know, I'd like to help tell that story. Well, we have a guest blog from her for it that we're going to post. And it's just a conversational, nice way that we can kind of tell that story through someone else's eyes. Another example is a recent guest post we had from Arizona Broadway Theater. If you go to our blog, which is visitglendale.wordpress.com, but you can get there from visitglendale.com. If you go there, you'll see her post. I believe it's the top post right now. And it's just her telling the story of not just the theater, but a mission they're on for anti-bullying, which is also something that October recognizes, sort of the efforts to combat bullying. And so she talks about a play that they have going on, as well as the efforts to really kind of raise awareness about that. Blogs also have this great story staying power. So, like I said, we have a story that we could tell maybe 3 different ways. So perhaps it's the game coming to town, and we do a preview, and we have a great video, and we do a post that's a video. Then we do another post that's one of the great press releases that Jen writes over here. And then we do a post after the game. And then maybe it's, you know, a wrap-up. I'm starting to think we need to do a post about the goal, personally. And I'll tell you a story on the side later about why that is now my son's favorite sports moment, even over Big Papi's, Grand Slam. So the story's staying power. And the more often you do that, the more Google recognizes it, the more people recognize it, and the more likely they're going to come back and keep reading about you. Well, our blog is something that's certainly new, and it's up and it's live now, and you can see it. I want to touch a little bit about something that's coming soon that we're working on. We're working on improving our interactive map. we do have an interactive map on the website right now, but we want to make it better. We want to add more benefit to you. So one of the things we're looking to do is take our interactive map and make it transition seamlessly from desktop to mobile. It will include things like video. If you have video that we can include, it'll include links back to your websites. It'll include Facebook page links, Twitter links, so that way people can socially continue to tell your story once they're in there finding their Google directions to get to wherever they want to go. It'll have GIS capability, so when they're looking at it, they can get the directions based on exactly where they are. If they're in a hotel room, if they're at their home and they have guests from out of town that they want to give directions to, then they can hand it over on a mobile device so people can take it with them. And the map will look so similar that they won't be lost when they go somewhere. They'll realize that they're looking at the same directions. It'll have a really clean mobile interface. And that's something that probably as soon as I get back, I'll be digging into to start working on again. So.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ginger. Ms. Stein, tell us about some of the new items in your world.
It's all about content, and just as Ginger is saying, we work together as a team to create lots of stories, and we repurpose stories. So they're going, we'll create one story and it will go toward the web, blog, media. So, it just has so many homes now and so many different channels. But a specific niche that we're trying to target is more of the trade media now. For example, there are thousands and thousands of trade publications out there. If you collect rocks, I found and discovered there's a rock collecting magazine for you. There are so many different options, and as it relates to the CVB and the travel side, hundreds and hundreds of meeting planning magazines, trade publications, tour operators, travel agent publications, and those are the ones that we are strategically targeting this year. In fact, we just have a story running this month in Smart Meetings, which is a publication that targets about 50,000 meeting planners. And we're working on, next week, there's a story that will hit in Travel Week, which is another trade operator and travel agent publication. So this year, we're going to start focusing on these very specific magazines and pursuing these opportunities.
Fantastic. Well, many, many thanks to both of you for providing your expertise on the accomplishments of the CVB and our new programs to bring more visitation to the area. Let's give Jennifer Stein and Ginger Iden a rousing West Valley round of applause. Sorry, I don't have a gift basket for you. Well, before we conclude the business-related portion of today's meeting, I'd like to take a moment to highlight a few of the CVB's accomplishments over the past year. The Bureau launched a new leisure advertising campaign that touts everything to see and do from A to Z in the West Valley, and we're very thankful to have the letter Z Zoo. Thank you, Mickey, for fulfilling our letter Z on our A to Z campaign. We have placed these ads in more than 100 print and online products, resulting in more than 87,000 qualified leads this past year. We have placed a stronger emphasis on the group and business travel market, as Jen mentioned, with our off-the-charts advertising campaign. And as Ginger Iden spoke of earlier, our social media products continue to reach more and more people. And as many of you know, the main focal point of our organization is the Glendale Visitor Center. Our center's dedicated volunteers respond to a high volume and number of inquiries from both local and out-of-state, along with international visitors. Annually, the center attracts approximately 15,000 walk-in visitors, and they receive 8,000 phone calls. And I'd like to take just a moment to thank 4 of our volunteers who are here today: Nancy, Becky, Neva, and Sue. Would you guys stand for just a second? They really are the heart of our office. Most of them have been here since we opened back in October of 2000, and I bet you can all guess who helped us set up the tables yesterday afternoon. Yeah, it was our volunteers. Thank you guys, to do the good works of the CVB. Not only do we have dedicated CVB staff, but we are also fortunate to have a wide array of resources and expertise from City of Glendale departments. This includes marketing, public relations, creative services, web management, information technology, admin support, and so much more. We have several of our city team members here with us today who work diligently to promote and enhance our Bureau's efforts. Team, can you stand for a moment and be recognized for all you do? I'm sure you might have noticed one person missing from today's meeting, Terry Williams. Did you all notice Terry wasn't here today? He's usually outside greeting you in every one of your step and repeat shots. Well, Terry Williams, our membership sales and service manager, is attending Destination Arizona. He's participating in this customized one-on-one appointments with meeting planners, and this is just one example of what he's doing over the next couple of days to bring more business, and especially group meeting business, to the West Valley. Well, as you all know, last year, the Glendale CVB began collecting a portion of the city's bed tax to boost tourism promotion in our community. Increasing the city's bed tax rate from 3.4% to 5% was an idea brought forward by a Glendale hotelier and overwhelmingly supported by Glendale hotels. This strong support was based on the additional funds generated by the tax increase going directly back to the Glendale CVB to enhance sales and marketing initiatives. And the CVB's participation in this week's meeting planner event that Terry is at, and our participation in the recently held Vancouver media mission that Jen spoke about, truly would not have been possible without this new tourism promotion fund. Now that we are collecting this revenue, we have created a new hotel advisory committee to assist us in establishing spending priorities. This group helps us with the money earmarked specifically for tourism promotion, and the committee is made up of a general manager or a designee from each Glendale hotel. Committee members serve in an advisory role and meet quarterly with our staff. And though we are not quite ready to make the announcement yet, we are currently working on a new and very ambitious program with the Hotel Advisory Committee that we hope to be unveiling sometime next year. You know, all of these efforts have resulted in a current 7.7% increase in hotel occupancy. Multiple factors play into this, including everyone here in this room working together to bring a regional voice to our tourism message. Congratulations on 7.7. We'll take that, won't we? Well, and finally, since this meeting is themed Welcome to the Big Leagues, I would be remiss not to talk about our mega events. Our sports mega brand continues to be enhanced as our region is becoming known for hosting major sporting events. Number one, hockey. And others like spring training, NASCAR, football championships, and will you be upset if I tell you WrestleMania is really my favorite, and WrestleManias? I've got a belt back at the office. Jerry wouldn't let me bring it. I really wanted to hold it. Well, most recently on this front, the Fiesta Bowl submitted a bid to host the 2016 College Football Championship game. We fully support the Fiesta Bowl's efforts to bring the championship game to our state, and we should learn by mid-November if we get the game or not. And this is a very much sought-after game, so fingers crossed. College football's new playoff system will provide us the opportunity to host teams and their fans from various markets throughout the country that have never played here before. From an economic development and tourism standpoint, this will enhance business and visitor attraction efforts, as well as generate additional interest in our community and region as a whole. And I'm sure all of you have February 1st, 2015 marked on your calendar. A few of you, I think Jean might even have a countdown clock on her phone. How many days? 400 and something? Well, this is the day that we'll be host to Super Bowl 49. This economic driver brings benefits to the entire state of Arizona, and we are once again prepared to roll out the red carpet to make this event even more impressive than the Super Bowl we hosted back in 2008. The City of Glendale staff is currently working with the NFL to ensure the best bowl experience possible for everyone traveling here for the game. And the NFL has asked us to work with our hotel partners on the room and function space blocks, and the CVB will be providing information to area hotels as soon as we receive it. We look forward to an exciting year ahead, breaking attendance records, filling our hotel rooms, shops, and restaurants with visitors, and continuing our partnership with all of our members and community advocates. Here's to the big leagues. Here's to tourism in the West Valley. Let's go out and make it a fabulous Arizona day. Thank you for attending today's meeting.